welcome to another Fight of the Night review. This was for the fight of the night that took place at UFC on ESPN, Sandhagen versus Dillashaw, and it was not the main event, which everyone thought was going to be the one for the night, but the co-main event between Phillips and Raulian Paiva. So, as always, it's up to me to go through the entire fight, round by round, try and break it down as best as I can, even though I don't always do so great, and tell you what I thought about the fight at the end, so let's just do that. So the fight starts and the two take to the centre of the octagon pretty much immediately, and it's a really good bit of like scrapping back and forth for the most part between them at first. Raulian is landing some really good shots to Kyler. Kyler is countering quite well. Then there's a moment where Kyler gets an opening and he lands a hell of a right and then a left, and then that knocks down Paiva. And from there, round one is pretty much like in Kyler's favour after that. After he knocks down Paiva, he jumps on him, tries to sink in the odd submission attempt here and there, isn't able to fully get anything in. He does get some good ground control, but Paiva eventually does manage to get back up. And Phillips just like is showing Paiva up in round one, landing some really good rights. Like his right hand in round one, especially his right cross, is there for him all day. He lands some really good counter. I was going to say he lands some really good wheel kicks on occasion, but like Paiva just eats them and walks through them. And Kyler even lands some really great elbows. There's one he lands near the end of the round, which almost actually finishes the fight in round one. And it does burst, I think it bursts Paiva open a bit. Like, he's very damaged at least, but yeah, round one definitely in favour of Phillips. He was getting Paiva desperate as well, and Paiva was shooting for a good couple of takedowns. Wasn't able to really get any of them. Kyler was just really good with counters. He was really good in the clinch too. Landed some really nice counter elbows, and his right cross, again, there for him all day in round one. So yeah, round one, definitely in favour of Kyler. It looks really good for him, and he looked really good, as he always does, through that entire round. Round two actually starts with a bit of respect. The two touch gloves at the start, and again, they immediately start trading a fair bit back and forth. Kyler even does sort of push for a takedown, and he actually gets a couple in round two. But the two go for like, they both go for the same right hand, and while that was a great weapon for Kyler in round one, he gets hit a lot worse, and he's actually knocked out in round two. And it was sort of like a little nice story thread that I quite like through this fight. But yeah, after that, like, I like the fact that Paiva did not immediately jump on Kyler after that, and like waited for him to get up, and he's landing bombs on him, throwing overhand rights, really great body work as well. There's a great moment where he lands an overhead right and then a left to the body that really rocks Kyler. And yeah, round three, much like how Paiva was shooting for a takedown at desperation in round one, excuse me, and I actually meant to say round two like a bit before that as well. But yeah, basically, much like Paiva was looking for desperation takedowns in round one after he's getting hit, Kyler was looking for a couple of desperation takedowns in round two, and he's actually getting them a bit better than Paiva is. Actually, Paiva tries to go for a couple in round two. He isn't really able to sink any in, but he's like, his stand-up game in round two just about manages to beat Kyler's. Like, he's got him beaten quite badly on the feet, lands some really good shots, stuns him quite a lot in the fight. He does defend a couple of takedowns, and there's a moment where Kyler actually has Paiva against the cage in round two, and Paiva like counters with a clinch and tries to go for a heel hook. Isn't able to get it. Kyler manages to get out of that pretty easily, but it was a really good moment, and it shows that Paiva is a dangerous man from any part of the fight, it turns out. But yeah, round two definitely in favour of Paiva. His strikes were a bit better than Kyler's were. He outstruck him quite well. Like the rock, the fact that he rocked him quite early on was quite good. And Kyler looking for the desperation takedowns, landed a couple, was good, but it wasn't enough to really get him with the round two. So, in my opinion, it is one apiece, but goddamn, Kyler had to work to stay in the fight after he was rocked that early. And we'll start with round three, but I do want to point out the fact that after the end of rounds one and two, Kyler was still sort of like standing when he went back to his corner, but Paiva sat down. Which, yeah, I think it showed that he was still a bit tired, but he managed to rally quite well in round two to win that. But yeah, on to round three. No glove touch this time. The only glove touch throughout this entire fight was in round two. But the two, like, they don't waste any time. They start going at each other. They're throwing really good body shots. There is at least one head collision in this round, I think. It might have been round one, I don't remember. But yeah, the two going for some really good counter shots as well. It does look like Paiva's landing the better of them, and he does have Kyler rocked a bit more, but Kyler does still throw some like wild spinny stuff as he had been throughout this fight. He goes for a spinning back fist at one point, he tries a spinning back kick, but that doesn't really land. It's more to keep Paiva away. But yeah, Paiva eventually manages to actually get a takedown because Kyler was just very tired because he's expended a lot of energy with his big moves. And he gets a takedown for the last minute and for the last minute and a half of this fight. Like, Paiva pretty much has it in the bag. Like, he's holding Kyler down, lands some really good shots. There is a good moment where, I think a bit earlier, I don't remember if it was in round 3 or 2, but Kyler sort of has a rear naked choke where he tries to go for the back at some point in whatever point in the fight it was. And he does sort of slip but manages to take the back again. And he lands some really good shots where he's not able to sink in the rear naked choke. But Paiva is obviously able to break away. I think it might have been near the end of round 3 the more I think about it. But yeah, the two break away from each other and they do like throw some heavy leather in the closing 10 seconds of the fight. And that's it in round 3. Probably the closest round, I think. But I'm giving it in favour of Paiva, who, spoiler alert, would win. So, yeah, let's try and break this down in the pre-outro thing. This fight was goddamn great. Honestly, I really like this one. I'm actually becoming more of a fan of Kyler Phillips, and I hope he keeps on putting great fights like this. This is only second left in the UFC, so hopefully it won't hurt him too badly. And this was a great fight with a fighter I'm not too familiar with in Paiva, but yeah, Paiva does get the win by majority decision, and he absolutely earned it. He weathered hell of a storm in round 1, came back strong in rounds 2 and 3, and it was still like even back and forth considering that as well. Just amazing striking between the two. Really good wrestling work from both sides, really good clinch work too. Nice submission attempts. I didn't really bring those up a lot. There was a great heel hook attempt from Paiva in round 1. In round 2, excuse me. There was a good rear naked choke attempt from Kyler in round 3. And there was some other stuff, I think, besides that. It wasn't really a wrestling-heavy fight, this one. Like, both men went for takedowns, but they didn't... Kyler only landed a couple in round 2, and Paiva really only landed one in round 3, but he held onto it for long enough to make the statement and definitely to win the round, and I got no problems with the call. I would have been good with majority or split decision, but I did see Paiva winning all in all. I think I would have even if I didn't know the result going in. So yeah, this fight was absolutely fantastic. I think it's top 10 worthy at the very least, or it may be honourable mention worthy. We'll see how the rest of the year plays out, but I really like this one. After the last couple of Fight of the Nights have been disappointing, like with... I'm going to get some flack for this, but I like a Fight of the Night that ends in a finish if it feels like it's earned. I didn't really feel like it for the last 2 fights. I think if this one had ended in a finish, it would have been like more worth it than those previous 2 were. But as it is, it went to a decision. It was still better than those previous 2 fights were from the last couple of weeks. Yeah, I'm serious about that. But yeah, absolutely incredible fight. Seek this one out for yourself. It was really goddamn good. Really great balance from both sides, and just a hell of a brawl, and the two show some good respect to each other. That'll about do it for this review, though I don't have any immediate videos planned, although I did make the decision to push back my my one top 10 list that I've already written to write another one that I want to get done. So expect that at some point in the week, and also a game review I want to get done. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I might be able to get a Music of the Week episode out by Friday. Yeah, it all depends on what happens, really, but the next thing I'm hoping to get out done will be a top 10 list. I've just got to write it first. I've got the intro bit done, I just need to write the rest. So, that's what I'll try and do, and that's about it. No more point in wasting any more time, but yeah, find this fight. Really great showing from both sides. Really good fight, possibly top 10 worthy, and as always, thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye-bye.